Welcome to the channel, where we dive into the mysteries of the unknown. Today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating topics in cryptozoology, the top 10 cryptids most likely to be real. These are creatures that have sparked legends, eyewitness accounts, and even scientific curiosity. For each one, we'll break down what makes them compelling and why they might actually exist in the wild corners of our world. So, grab a notebook, settle in, and let's go hunting for the truth behind these elusive beings. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the unexplained. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the Thylacine, also known as a Tasmanian Tiger. This dog-like marsupial, with its distinctive stripes and kangaroo-like pouch, was once native to Australia and Tasmania. Officially declared extinct in the 1980s after decades of hunting and habitat loss, the Thylacine has refused to fade into history. Sightings persist, especially in the dense forests of Tasmania, where people report seeing a creature with a long tail, striped back, and a gait unlike any known animal. Why might the Thylacine still be out there? Now, Tasmania's rugged terrain is a perfect hiding spot. Vast swaths of untouched wilderness provide ample cover for a small population to survive undetected. The Thylacine was a nocturnal predator, skilled at avoiding humans, and its diet of small mammals and birds is still abundant in these ecosystems. In 1973, a grainy video surfaced showing a creature with a low hock and long tibia, traits unique to the Thylacine. While skeptics argue it could be a misidentified dog or fox, the footage remains compelling to believers. History shows us that extinct animals can surprise us. The coelacanth, a fish thought gone for millions of years, was rediscovered in 1938. Could a small Thylacine population have clung on in Tasmania's remote corners? It's not impossible. The challenge is a lack of hard evidence like clear photos or DNA, but with trail cameras and drones becoming more common, cryptozoologists are hopeful. If the Thylacine is still out there, it's a testament to nature's resilience and our planet's ability to keep secrets. At number 9, we travel to the dense jungles of Sumatra, Indonesia, to meet the orang pendek, or short person. This small bipedal creature, standing between 2.5 and 5 feet tall, is described as covered in golden or brown hair with a human-like face. Locals in Sumatra's Kerinci Seblat National Park have reported sightings for centuries, often describing it as a shy, elusive primate. What makes the orang pendek a strong candidate for reality? Well, Sumatra's rainforests are biodiversity hotspots, home to species like the orangutan and the recently discovered Tapanuli orangutan in 2017. It's plausible that a small, undiscovered primate could exist in these dense, underexplored jungles. The orang pendek's human-like features and bipedal stance suggest it could be a surviving hominid, perhaps related to Homo floresiensis, the hobbit species found on nearby Flores Island, which lived as recently as 50,000 years ago. Footprints found in the region with a distinct ape-like shape have fueled speculation, though no DNA has been recovered. The main hurdle is a lack of physical evidence, but the inaccessibility of Sumatra's interior makes thorough surveys difficult. If the orang pendek is real, it could be a living relic of our evolutionary past, quietly thriving in one of the world's last great wildernesses. Diving into the ocean for number 8, we have the frilled shark, a creature so bizarre it seems ripped from sea serpent legend. This deep-sea dweller, with its eel-like body and 300 serrated teeth in 25 rows, was first documented in the late 1800s, but has been linked to ancient tales of sea monsters. Found in waters from Japan to the Atlantic, it lives at depths of up to 5,000 feet, rarely seen by humans. Why is the frilled shark a cryptid with credibility? Well, it's already a confirmed species, but its elusive nature and prehistoric appearance make it a bridge between myth and reality. Sailors' tales of sea serpents, described as long, snake-like creatures, match the frilled shark's profile, especially its sinuous movement. Its discovery in the 19th century by German ichthyologist Ludwig Doderland showed that creatures once thought mythical can be very real. The ocean is vast and largely unexplored, with over 70% of it unmapped. If a creature as strange as the frilled shark can exist, it lends credence to other sea monster legends. The frilled shark's survival into modern times, unchanged for millions of years, suggests the deep sea could hide other living fossils waiting to be found. Number 7 brings us to the forests of the Pacific Northwest for the iconic Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot. This large, bipedal, ape-like creature, standing 7 to 10 feet tall with dark fur, has been a part of Native American lore for centuries, and modern sightings since the 1950s. From the Patterson-Gimlin film of 1967, showing a large, hairy figure walking through a California forest, to countless eyewitness reports, Sasquatch is a cultural phenomenon. What makes it plausible? The Pacific Northwest's dense forests, stretching from California to British Columbia, offer millions of acres of habitat where a large primate could avoid detection. Black bears and cougars, which are rarely seen despite being common, prove how elusive large animals can be. Sasquatch could be a descendant of Gigantopithecus, a massive ape that lived in Asia until about 100,000 years ago. fossil evidence suggests Gigantopithecus was a ground-dwelling omnivore, and if it crossed the Bering Land Bridge during the Ice Age, it could have adapted to North America's forests. Tracks with dermal ridges, like those found in Washington in 1982, show primate-like features not easily faked. While skeptics point to hoaxes and misidentifications, the sheer volume of consistent reports across decades suggests something is out there. DNA studies of alleged Sasquatch hair have been inconclusive, but advances in environmental DNA sampling could one day provide answers. At number 6, we head to the Congo Basin in Central Africa to explore the Mokele Mbembe, a creature described as a living dinosaur. Eyewitnesses, including local Baka and Bantu tribes, describe it as a large, long-necked animal with a small head, resembling a sauropod, lurking in the swamps and rivers of the Congo. Why could Mokele Mbembe exist? Well, the Congo Basin is one of the least explored regions on Earth, with dense jungles and vast wetlands that have barely been surveyed. In the early 20th century, explorers like German captain Ludwig Freyer von Stein reported tracks and sightings of a large, unknown creature. The region's isolation and abundant vegetation could support a large herbivore. While a surviving dinosaur is a stretch, it's possible Mokele Mbembe is a misidentified or unknown species, perhaps a large monitor lizard or a relative of the extinct Paraceratherium, a massive hornless rhinoceros. Fossil records show that large reptiles and mammals have survived in isolated ecosystems before. The lack of clear photos or remains is a challenge, but expeditions in the 1980s and 1990s found large unexplained tracks and recorded local accounts that align closely. If Mokele Mbembe is real, it could be a relic of a bygone era, hiding in one of the world's last great frontiers. Halfway through our list at number 5 is the Chupacabra, the goatsucker of Puerto Rico and the American Southwest. First reported in the 1990s, this creature is described as a 3 to 5 foot tall reptile or canine-like being with spines along its back, blamed for attacking livestock and drinking their blood. Why might the Chupacabra be real? Well, the initial sightings in Puerto Rico coincided with livestock deaths where animals were drained of blood with precise puncture wounds, unlike typical predator attacks. Some speculate the Chupacabra could be an undiscovered species, perhaps a mutated canid or a surviving member of a prehistoric carnivore lineage. Others propose it could be an escaped exotic pet, like a monitor lizard, adapted to the wild. In 2010, Texas hunters killed a hairless dog-like creature dubbed the Chupacabra, but DNA tests identified it as a coyote with mange. However, not all sightings fit this explanation, as many describe a bipedal creature with reptilian features. The Caribbean and Southwest have ecosystems capable of hiding a small predator, and new species are still discovered in these regions. While some cases are likely misidentifications, the consistency of reports across cultures keeps the Chupacabra's mystery alive. Number 4 takes us to the Himalayas for the Yeti, or abominable snowman. This large ape-like creature is said to roam the snowy peaks, standing 6 to 8 feet tall with white or gray fur. Sherpa and Tibetan legends have long told of a mountain guardian, and Western explorers like Eric Shipton, who photographed large footprints in 1951, brought the Yeti to global attention. Why is the Yeti plausible? Well, the Himalayas are vast, with remote valleys and high altitudes that are rarely visited. A large primate could survive on a diet of roots, small animals, and carrion, much like the region's snow leopards. The Yeti could be related to Gigantopithecus, like Sasquatch, or even a bear species adapted to high altitudes. In 2017, a DNA study of alleged Yeti samples, including hair and bone, found most were from Himalayan bears, but one sample was unidentified, sparking debate. Footprints with unique pressure patterns suggest a heavy bipedal creature, and local accounts describe behaviors unlike any known animal. Skeptics argue that Himalayan bears or human hermits could explain sightings, but the Yeti's enduring legend and the region's inaccessibility make it a strong candidate for an undiscovered species. At number 3, we plunge back into the ocean for the Megalodon, the massive prehistoric shark that some believe still patrols the deep. This 60-foot-long predator with teeth the size of dinner plates was thought to have gone extinct 2.6 million years ago. Yet, reports of enormous sharks, far larger than great whites, persist in places like the Mariana Trench. Why could Megalodon still exist? The ocean's deepest regions, like the abyssal zone, are less explored than the surface of Mars. Deep-sea gigantism, seen in creatures like the giant squid, suggests large predators can thrive in these environments. In 2018, a massive shark was filmed off Mexico, estimated at over 30 feet, far larger than a typical great white. While skeptics say it was likely a whale shark, the footage reignited Megalodon speculation. The shark's diet of whales and large fish is still plentiful in the deep ocean, and its physiology was suited for extreme depths. No confirmed Megalodon remains have been found in recent times, but the discovery of living coelacanths and goblin sharks shows the ocean can hide ancient survivors. If Megalodon is out there, it's likely in the deepest, darkest waters. far from human reach. Number 2 brings us to Loch Ness, Scotland, for the legendary Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie. Described as a long-necked, humped creature resembling a plesiosaur, Nessie has been sighted since the 6th century, with modern reports surging in the 1930s after a famous photo showed a serpentine head emerging from the water. Why might Nessie be real? Well, Loch Ness is a deep, murky lake, over 700 feet at its deepest, with underwater caves and a rich food supply of fish. A small population of large aquatic animals could survive undetected, especially if they're air breathers that surface rarely. Some propose Nessie could be a living plesiosaur, though the lake's formation 10,000 years ago makes this unlikely. More plausibly, it could be a large eel species or an unknown pinniped adapted to freshwater. Sonar scans in the 1980s detected large, moving objects in the loch, and while skeptics cite otters or boat wakes, the consistency of sightings over centuries is hard to dismiss. Environmental DNA surveys are ongoing, and if Nessie exists, they might finally reveal its identity. At number 1, we have the mapinguari, a creature from the Amazon rainforest described as a 7-foot-tall, one-eyed beast with a mouth on its belly and a stench that can knock you out. Indigenous tribes in Brazil and Bolivia have told stories of this creature for generations, and modern sightings describe it as a sloth-like or ape-like being. Why is mapinguari our top cryptid? Well, the Amazon is the world's largest rainforest, with millions of square miles still unexplored. New species like the saola are discovered there regularly. The mapinguari could be a surviving ground sloth, like Megatherium, which lived until about 10,000 years ago. Its massive claws and thick hide match descriptions, and its foul odor could be a defense mechanism, like that of some modern mammals. In 1994, biologist David Oren collected eyewitness accounts and found hairs that didn't match any known species, though DNA testing was inconclusive. The Amazon's dense canopy and remote tribes make it a perfect hiding place. If the mapinguari is real, it could be a living fossil, proving the jungle still holds secrets. That's our list of the top 10 cryptids most likely to be real. From the Tasmanian Tiger to the mapinguari, these creatures remind us how much of our world remains a mystery. Which one do you think is most likely to exist? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you want a deeper dive into any of these cryptids. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown with fact and fiction.